Hello ladies and gents, welcome back to my channel. This is my 3-year sort of review slash walkthrough talkthrough of the MSR Windburner 1 litre stove. Okay, if you're looking at one of these, chances are you're looking at this and you're probably looking at its competitor to the Jetboil, and you'll have already seen a shed load of other videos from other people with brand new ones. Maybe they've been on the odd trip here or there, whatever. And they'll be telling you how amazing they are and how brilliant they are, and they'll be showing you them boiling a litre of water in however long, and that's great. But I've had mine for 3 years, and I really wanted to give you the rundown of what my thoughts are on the device, having had it for 3 years and giving it some serious abuse in the field. Okay, hopefully with what I've picked up and I've learned about it, you'll be able to make an informed decision for yourself as to whether or not you want to buy one, especially compared to other stuff on the market such as your Jetboil. So I'll give you a quick rundown then. On the bottom is your pot. Mine has got a crack in it and a chip, which you will notice if you're keen of eye, and the reason for that is problem number one. Problem number one then, when you get your cup, it's all nice and new, it's really tight around the body of the actual stove itself. Okay, they have a tendency for these little lugs here, which are intended to hold it in place, there's a tendency for those to get stuck on that ring. You then can't get the pot off, especially if it's in your webbing and you sit on it, or it's in your day sack and it gets launched and chucked and impacts. They'll get stuck in that bit there. You can't get the mug off. The only way to get it off is to get a metal tool or something, screwdriver, whatever, wedge it in there, lever it off. Breaks the bloody cup, doesn't it? Now, I contacted MSR UK about it, and I said to them about it, and I showed them, and I said, a bit of a fault here. They sent me a new cup. It's really nice of them. I appreciate that. Really nice. This is the new cup, by the way, which, by the way, obviously shows that it just happens again as soon as it gets stuck on. It just happens again, doesn't it? So I've given up replacing them. I don't really use it much anyway. I used to use it for shaving, but switched to electric razor. Happy days. Next up, then, you've got a lid. In the middle is a hole for letting out a bit of steam. It's also for using the optional coffee press. I do have the coffee press. I've given up on it. It ain't worth the money. For the money you pay for the coffee press attachment, you could almost buy an AeroPress, which is 10 times better. If you don't know what an AeroPress is, by the way, get yourself on Google, have a look at that. It will change your life. It certainly has mine. So the lid then, it's got this strainer bit here. That's for if you're making pasta or something in the stove, in the pot there, and you want to pour the juice away, whatever. And it's got a little lip here, so you can keep the lid on if you're using it as a cup to drink out of. That's for your mouth there, sort of thing. You don't burn your lips on the edge of the pot if you've got no lid on. Okay, so that's that. Next up inside, you've got your stand, which is for your gas can. I don't use this because I just think it's a faff. I haven't really ever had it fall over that I can remember, but your gas can clicks in there. That gives you a little bit of a wider base area, stops it falling over. Next up is the actual burner itself. Okay, the control for which folds out like so, unlike on a Jetboil where it's just a little black knob. That's your burner head there. It's like a radon burner. Radon? Yeah, radon. Anywho, there's a wire there, which you'll see in a bit, that glows red when it's on. In the daylight, it's very difficult to see the naked flame. You know, if you're in a bright lit area, if you're in a wood block, you've got more chance of seeing it. It'll be all good. Sorry about the rust, by the way, but as I say, this is a 3-year review, and this is a used item review. I've literally just took it out of my gear, and here it is. I don't like all this brand spanking, here it is malarkey. It doesn't really prove something's good, I don't think. Last item, gas can. This is the smallest one MSR do of the isopro fuel. Always try and get fuel with propane in. It's the most resilient to the cold. If you buy just pure butane, cheap cans, you're just a fool to yourself. You're wasting your money. Okay. MSR data, I'm fairly sure, says that you get 13 burns out of one of these tiny cartridges. When they say 13 burns, I'm pretty sure they mean a litre of water, which seems to be like the industry standard for testing stoves. How fast does it do a litre of water? If you're using this, certainly in the capacity that I'm using it, you're only ever probably going to be burning about 300 millilitres of water, enough to fill a small flask and to boil a boiling packed meal. If you're using it for adventures otherwise, you know, getting out in the woods, in the mountains, whatever, going abroad, I can't say. You'll have to check out some other YouTubers, have a look at some other people's reviews, and read online, see if it's going to be good for your needs. If I were going away anywhere, I'd obviously carry extra cans of gas in my gear. Inside the main pot then, you've got your graduation marks. Up the left is fluid ounces, down the right is points of a litre, up to 0.7 there. Okay. If you're going to be making a brew into a little flask, you know, like an ammo pouch flask, like a Trav Adventure one, whatever it's called, yeah, or a Webtex one, something like that, you only really want to put water in up to sort of the first metal ring. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. It's like a metal ring. I know how dirty it is, by the way, I can see it as well, but like I say, just come out of my gear. Being made of aluminium, by the way, it always goes like that. It gets covered in this powder stuff when it gets left, you know, just a quick wipe out, it'd be no bother. So set the stove up, take your cover off the gas can, screw the burner head on, like that. You're good to go. Now there's no piezo igniter, which is the little clicky button like what there is on a Jetboil. So you've got to use a lighter. Okay? Just open the throttle, as it were. And there you go. You can already see a nice blue flame across there, sort of thing. And you've got your red wire there, your wire indicator. That's for in really bright conditions. That's to show you that the stove is on. Okay? Now I'm not going to put the pot on while the stove's on with nothing in it, because obviously it'll melt the bloody thing. Pot clicks on like so, twist it like that, and it's locked together, just the same as a Jetboil. So, we've established then, stove, pretty much the same as a Jetboil. Why would you get this over a Jetboil? Well, there's one main reason. This is supposedly windproof. Now I say supposedly because windproof is one of these terms, isn't it? I think wind resistant would be more accurate. If MSR went around saying things were windproof, then when people managed to blow them out, they'd be having a little cry about it, wouldn't they? Wind resistance is probably better. Okay. I will say, from my own experience, I've been using my MSR Windburner, okay, and guys next to me with Jetboils have had them blown out. This don't blow out. The only downside with regard to using it in the wind is, because it hasn't got a self-starter, you know, the little click button, and it's got this massive surface area for the gas, how do you start it in the wind? Well, I'll show you a little trick. The wind is blowing this way, okay, you get your pot ready, like that, don't click it in though, open the throttle, get your lighter, lift it a little bit like that. I'm over exaggerating the movement, but it only needs to be a tiny bit. Click your lighter and boom, put it straight back down, and that's it, you're good to go. When it's on, my god, you can hear it. These little things here, these are the exhaust ports for the burn sort of thing, so no air can go in there, otherwise they've got to go down and round a little mechanism, this little mechanism here, and the air intake for the burn is underneath behind this metal shield here, so it can't really get blown out, not realistically. You know, I've been on windy hilltops and weird places and stuff, and mine, hand on my heart, has never blown out. I see blokes with Jetboils, okay, get the webbing, you get the Jetboil all set up, trying to light it, it keeps going out, whatever. I'll open the pouch, I'll do this business here. Can barely get mine in because of the handle, I'll put it up like that. Anyway, they'll light it and they'll put it straight down in the webbing pouch like that to shield it from the wind. That's fine, whatever, but what if you then turn away, you know, conduct your admin, whatever, I don't know, talk to the man next to you, whatever. What if he sets fire to your bloody webbing? Do you know what I mean? Not a drama perhaps if you've got issued gear, but if you bought a nice JJ's rig, or you've got Warrior Assault Systems rig like myself here, you're just potentially putting your gear up in smoke, isn't you, every time you use it. Can you imagine that 3-4 times a day? Just ruined, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Why would you do that? And you can just few extra quid, a little bit dearer than a Jetboil, and the bloody thing don't go out in the wind. And it's super efficient because of that mechanism. I'll show you the old gas stand. There we go. Downsides. There's got to be some. Yeah? Okay, it's not without its downsides. The main thing I've found is it is very efficient. Oh, how is that a downside? Well, it is, right? Because at the moment, the throttle is in the closed position, right? It's 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. If I open it that much, with it lit, that is enough for it to boil. What you find is, you'll end up doing this safe cracker thing, where you're trying to get it almost as shut as it can be, with it still going and still boiling, to try and get the gas pressure down as low as you can. And the reason being is, the bloody thing doesn't simmer. It's just mechanically incapable of going down low enough to stop it from boiling, to just keep it ticking along. So if you put a boil in the bag meal in and put about 300 millilitres of water in, so you're cooking for one person, that's fine, no drama. It doesn't matter if it boils or if it doesn't. Lid on, you'll get the odd little splatter coming out of it, you know, the odd little bit coming out, not a problem. But if your colleague next to you says, oh, can you put my food in with that? You can't. If you wedge 2 in there, with that tiny bit of water, and it on as low as it goes, it'll either spew out everywhere and go dry, in which case the bag gets stuck to the pan because you're none the wiser. Ask me how I know that, by the way. Or you put in a shit ton of water to stop that happening, and then it all just overflows everywhere, goes dry and gets stuck to the pan. You can't win. So what you have to do is you have to do one person at a time. It's not very convenient, and it makes you look like an idiot. Yeah? People who've never seen this before, which is 90% of people, because most people have got a Jetboil, they look at you like you're some kind of idiot when you say, oh, I've got to do it one at a time and this is why, and you have to give them that whole song and dance about why. People are always like, oh, I don't see, why would you not have a Jetboil? This costs more, why would you not have a Jetboil? But obviously they don't get to see that it's bloody windproof. So, yeah. And when someone next to you's got a Jetboil and it keeps blowing out and you've got the windproof one, that's about the only time they ever think, oh, that's nice, but then they've already got a Jetboil, so they're already invested, aren't they? So they ain't going to get one. Anyway, ran it over. Long and short of it is, yeah, really efficient, yeah, windproof. Downside, so efficient you can't cook for 2, basically. If you're going to be melting snow, stuff like that, brilliant. Do you know what I mean? This is your man. If you go in Arctic or something like that. I don't know if the fuel's what I'd pick for melting snow personally. I think I'd rather have liquid fuel, like a Whisperlight International or something, and you can run whatever fuel you like, but I digress, that's a story for another day. Final thoughts then, yeah, I'd have one. I'm obviously biased because I've got one. I will say as a caveat to that though, I have got a Jetboil as well. When it comes to picking what I'm taking, I always take this, personally. If I'm just making a brew for myself, I'm just cooking for myself, why would I not want something that's super gas efficient and won't blow out in the wind? Do you know what I mean? I ain't making no shielding with my kit or anything, or digging a hole to try and put it in. You know what I mean? I ain't got to worry about none of that, so why would I not take this? So yeah, I hope I've drew your attention to a few things that people always seem to leave out of the other videos. The cups get stuck on, it doesn't simmer, otherwise pretty hard beast. The coffee press is rubbish, it just makes a terrible mess and impossible to clean, certainly if you're limited on water. But otherwise, really good stove. I think it's worth the money. I've got mine at Go Outdoors. You get a little bit of discount there sometimes if your day job allows that sort of thing or whatever, or your emergency services or something, I don't know, or cadets, or I don't know. It weren't a great deal more than a Jetboil, and I think it's probably worth the money. But anyway, thanks for watching. If you've got a minute, check out my channel, have a look at my other stuff. There ain't a great deal on there at the moment, but there will be more stuff coming as I have time to edit stuff. I've got plenty of things filmed, but I just rarely have time to edit anything, unfortunately. But there will be more stuff coming. Hit the subscription button for us, and hit the little bell, get notifications when I do upload new stuff. And I'll see you in the future. Cheers again.